Hello, friends, and welcome to Rise Up in Real Estate, where we are on a quest. We are looking for the extra in the ordinary. And I'm Tad Fulford, and I will be your host on this journey where we will take an honest look at what makes ordinary people extraordinary. Exactly how can we be extra in our personal and our professional lives? In this season of the Rise Up in Real Estate adventure, there will be a monthly rhythm, meaning each month we will have 4 unique episodes. In one episode, we'll tackle a pressing current real estate industry thought. In another, we will chat with a local difference maker in the real estate space. For our 3rd episode, we will host a respected national thought leader. And finally, we will have a 4th bonus and surprise episode. And in each episode, we will be digging into not only what those people think, but who those people are. Along the way, it's my hope that you'll laugh some, you'll be challenged some, you will get inspired some, and if we are lucky, maybe even figure out a way or two you can rise up in your own life and be the best human that you can be. So the challenge is, let's all rise up. Hello, Rise Up Nation. Welcome back to Rise Up in Real Estate. We're excited to have you here for a great episode. This is going to be, you'll be surprised, like I actually have something inside our sphere of business here. Most of the time I talk to a lot of random people, but I'm talking to a really good friend of mine, golf buddy, and just a good family man from the south part of coastal South Carolina. I want to introduce you to my friend, Joseph Jones. Joseph, glad to have you on Rise Up in Real Estate today.
Thanks for having me, Tad. It's an honor to be here.
This is one of those things like Joseph, he walked in the office and, I've got all this fancy equipment and it looks like just like a real studio in here, doesn't it?
It does. It does. Looks great.
It's a little bit nerve wracking. We both have are those readers that you're wearing?
Oh, no, these are 24/7.
Oh, you got to have them. So mine are just readers. So like if I'm on the road or whatever, I'm fine, or like across the room. But if I try to look at a note, we'll be sunk. But I'm glad you're here. Just what I want to do today with Rise Up is let everybody know we're in coastal South Carolina because we've got listeners all over the place. We actually have, I think, 17 or 18 countries that listen, which is bizarre to me. We're in the coastal region of South Carolina. We're right in the middle of, this will probably air in September, so right at the end of our summer season. We're a seasonal market, so it's been a little bit crazy. But Joseph comes to us from the lending side of things, and he's going to talk to us a little bit about that eventually. But I want you to introduce yourself first. Tell me your story. Like, where were you born and where'd you go to high school, college? Give us a little bit of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you again for having me. So I am a South Carolina native. I grew up in Sumter, 2 hours inland. My mother grew up here in Garden City on the south strand of the Grand Strand. And we spent all our summers here, spent many weekends throughout the school year. Her whole family's here. So, this is home. I went to South Carolina in 2003, finished 2007, lived in Charleston for a couple years, and then had an opportunity work-wise to be here full-time, working for BB&T at that point in time, now Truist. And so that moved me here in 2010.
Okay.
And my wife moved here in 2011. We got married in 2012, have 3 kids now, 4, 7, and 10. And yeah, absolutely.
It's been a busy decade.
Yeah, absolutely.
What you're saying since 2012. You said you moved here in 2010, right? So that's 13 years ago. Gosh, a lot has happened, right? Married, 3 kids, and I know I have a lot of kids too. And when we went from 2 to 3, it was a game changer. Was it for you?
Absolutely, yeah.
2 was pretty manageable. I've heard the whole silly thing, like it was man to man, but now it's zone defense. But for us, our 3rd one. Well, it took us 4 more years to have another one, if that tells you anything. It was hard for us.
Yeah.
You have 2, your oldest is a girl?
Oldest is a girl,
and 2 boys after that?
Yeah.
Bless your heart. We have our 2 youngest are boys too, and they are full speed.
Yeah, so if, our youngest, Charlie, he's tough. He's been real tough. Morgan always says, if he was our second, we probably wouldn't have a third. So
that's what I say about my second girl. If she was our first, we probably wouldn't have any more. She'd have been an only child.
Yeah.
So you're a Gamecock. Shout out to the Gamecocks.
Yeah, go Cox.
I hear that there's going to be that you have a lot of promise for football. I mean, there were 50,000 people at your spring game, so that's pretty impressive.
50,000, is that right?
Yeah, that's what I heard anyway.
Yeah. It's interesting. I used to keep up with it pretty regularly. Now I learn more about Carolina football from my Clemson friends. So.
Oh, well, that you can't rely on any of that information.
Yeah.
I married into Clemson. Mandy went to Clemson, but I grew up, I went to North Carolina State, and I grew up an Alabama fan because I was born in Alabama. So that's been an interesting thing for Mandy and I to deal with. We actually went to the national championship game when they played each other twice, and it's just been fights ever since. But what I know is that you can't count on whatever Carolina says about Clemson. You can't count on that, and you can't count on the other way either. So you need to get your information.
That's true.
So it used to be like really dialed into sports, you were telling me, and then just kids happened, work happened.
Yeah. So kids happened. That's the main thing. Taylor, our oldest, is 10, and prior to her arrival, I think I had 12 years season ticket holders going to every game.
Oh wow.
We went to a few her first year. And then, I dropped the tickets. I like to take the kids to one game a year, maybe two, and we could always get them. So
yeah.
Just,
that tailgate thing is I mean, if you're not from the South, here in the South, that's a big deal.
Yeah,
isn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's a lot of people.
Weekend.
Full day. If it's a noon game, you're there at 8:00 in the morning. Right. If it's an afternoon game, you're there at 8:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
I mean, what an experience. When you went, I haven't asked you this before, Joseph. When you were in undergraduate. In the university, what did you study? Was it related to what you're doing now?
Business, yeah.
Business, okay. So. And did you have aspirations to be a loan originator way back then, or what?
That's a good question. No, I didn't. Actually, at the time, I thought that I wanted to go down the investment route. So I finished in 2007. 2008, that was kind of a hard time to get a job. I found myself in insurance, doing insurance and investments for Prudential Financial.
Okay.
It was just a great opportunity to get some sales experience. And then a year later, I had an opportunity to go work with BB&T, being on the retail side of the bank, kind of learn that. And then obviously kind of figure out which path you want to go down. Thought it was investments at the time, but a few years later, met my mentor who, took a liking to me and got me into the mortgage business. So,
that's awesome. Who's that? You want to shout out to your mentor?
Yeah, Trippett Bueno. He's the man.
Okay, yeah. Trippett is a long time. He's a fixture in our industry here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really good friend. And I love what Trippett has done in our business and for a lot of our agents. So he's a good dude. So I've never asked anyone this question either, Joseph, but your story makes me want to know this. I graduated from college in 1991. So I'm much older than you, but there was a lot of opportunity back then. It was before the financial crisis. You were graduating in the midst of the financial crisis, the tail end. I mean, the writing was already on the wall, right? What was going to happen?
Right.
What was it like as a college student? Did you know that? Were y'all talking about it in class, and were jobs hard to find? And
sadly, I hate to admit it, but we partied a little too much.
Yeah. So, no, I get that.
No, it wasn't a reality until, after graduation, trying to figure out what's next. So,
that would be, Mandy opened our first RE/MAX franchise in 2007. It's when she bought her first one. And we often say that was, everybody go, oh, that's a great time to start a business. But it really was because there were so many people trying to get out of it that we were very eager and energetic and gobbled up a lot of opportunity around us because we had all of I guess we were naive to what was going on, but we learned short sales, we learned foreclosures, and the next thing you know, we had a successful, flourishing business. You coming out of college in 2007, though, I bet it was, especially in the financial sector, there was so much uncertainty there.
Right.
But I love your transparency, your honesty. Like when I was in college, I wasn't paying attention to that either. I mean, I was at probably the dining hall like 4 times a day. I was at the gym 3 times a day, and that was during the day. And at night, I was doing exactly what you were doing.
Right.
I don't even think I studied that much. I was an RA, in a co-ed dorm, so I didn't get a whole lot done in college, but I loved it. My son is at Liberty University now, and I would go back, literally when I walk on campus with him, I'd go back to college tomorrow if I could. It was my favorite 4 years.
It was a lot of fun.
It was fun.
Yeah.
So you've got a growing family, and you've got, those of you that don't know Joseph, like I'll speak to Joseph just for a second. My testimony about him, the reason he's here, he's just a good human being. Like I've always, like in our business, he offers a service to my clients, my agents, that is needed, but he's never been evangelical about that. Like he just doesn't ask for things. He's very laid back. I've never heard a complaint I'm sure there have been, like, let's be real, right? I mean, there's always complaints about everyone, but he's just been he does the right thing. I've got a great friend that uses him on a regular basis, and he's just laid back. He's a lot like I am, but he's never asked for business. And I appreciate that so much about you, Joseph. Sometimes that gets business in my world. So, I wish you could see him. He's the picture of I saw his wife and he at a festival that happened here in Murrells Inlet. Murrells Inlet is the fishing town here in coastal South Carolina, and his family just likes, like, they could be on a postcard in coastal South Carolina. The way you dress,
thank you.
The way I mean, look at your hair. Your hair is cool. I mean, it's just I can't do all that. But talk to me for a minute about how you ended up in the. You're now a loan originator. That would be your title, right? And you work with. Yeah,
so Guaranteed Rate. I have been with Guaranteed Rate now for a little over 2.5 years. We're an independent mortgage company, not a bank, so we specialize in mortgages. That's all we do, and do it very well. Guaranteed Rate was founded in 2000, so we're nationwide, based out of Chicago. We've had an office here in the Carolinas now for 5 years, and we're a top 3 retail lender nationwide. So big company. A lot of top producers in the industry are with Guaranteed Rate. It's a great company, really has all the tools, technology to really help one scale their business. So moved over a little over 2.5 years ago, and it's been excellent.
Awesome. And you were at a bank before.
Yeah, at a bank, which, really enjoyed my experience there. Didn't anticipate leaving until I had to leave. It was 12, almost 13 years there. So since being in financial services, aside from that first year, out of school, I've really been doing mortgages for 11 years, and this is only my second company. But
I've learned, we had a small mortgage company for a minute, and I learned in that experience that loan originators hop around a lot. There's a following opportunity, and just like real estate agents might do. But so for you to say this is only the second one, that's pretty reputable. I like that. And I was telling Joseph before we got on here today, I don't know a lot about Guaranteed Rate. I just trust Joseph. And that's the funniest thing. Like, I would just refer someone to you and let you do your thing. I wouldn't do any research on the company. But now that you mention it, and RE/MAX agents only expect that level of service. I mean, that's who we are as RE/MAX, and our professional full-time agents want a lender that can justify that and can handle that. Talk to me a little bit about how you see, and again, this is not a commercial for anything fake. This is real life talk. What's your experience right now? We're in the middle of 2023. What is your experience like in the mortgage business as you see it now?
Yeah. So great question. And I do have to tell you, in addition to being a loan originator, I'm also a branch manager. So I've got 3 loan officers that work with me, a sales assistant, and 2 processors. So in addition to, finding and originating business, I do have a bit of a leadership role as well, here locally. Cool. So that's, the market's tough though. Rates obviously went up, that, they're temporary. It's going to get better in time, but keeping the team motivated, just keeping a positive mindset. We're doing all that we can. We still have a ton of opportunity, even though rates are high. We're in a great area. The demand here is far better than many of my peers throughout other parts of the Southeast. So, it is a tough market, but we're fortunate to be where we are, with folks, retiring, relocating, moving down here. We have a lot of, young families that also move down here to be close to family. So, it's been tough, but we're still very fortunate. So,
do you have a lot of time that you get to talk to your peers in other markets?
Yeah. We every other week we have a branch manager call. So my region is the Southeast. We go up to Virginia, down out through Georgia, and down to Florida. So we have good conversations every other week.
Right.
So.
And is it true that this market affords it more opportunity? Do you see people that are in other markets like I don't know, Charlotte or Raleigh? But that might be bad examples because those are big industrial cities. But are there parts of the country, peers that you talk to that are really discouraged right now, or is it just what it is, and
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Like I said, I mean, we're so fortunate to have, people are coming. I mean, the cost of living here, is hard to find on the East Coast. The weather, obviously, and yeah, so we have, we're much more fortunate than many parts of and obviously, inventory has been a big challenge this year, but we're seeing a lot of homes go up. That's going to only help us in time through resales, and so yeah, absolutely, it's good market to be in.
And what keeps you, this wasn't on their list of questions, but I know you can answer this. What keeps you positive in the midst of, because really, if you started in 2007, 2008, you've been through a pretty strong market. I mean, it's been pretty good since then, but now's like the first major hiccup since you've been in business, right?
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah.
The rates now have gone up because they were down 2s, 3s, whatever.
Right.
But how do you keep yourself positive every day? What do you...
Yeah, that's a great question. So I want to go back, when I got into the mortgage business, 2011, that was shortly after, the Dodd-Frank Act kind of restructured the industry.
Okay.
And so at that point in time, I didn't know at that time kind of what it was like, when things were easy. So Dodd-Frank rolls out, it reshapes, a lot of the financial services industry, not just the mortgage business. So,
right.
Full doc loans, QM loans, qualified mortgage, all the, criteria to make these loans, to show, the ability to repay, what we call ATR, it's just harder. It's harder after that bill was passed versus prior to. So what I found at that point in time is, I didn't know any better. A lot of the, veterans in the industry that I worked with, complained a lot because of how much harder it was. I just flat out didn't know any better. So,
right.
I think that's helped me, because, it's not, it is involved, but, having a full understanding, setting clear expectations on the front end, under promise, over deliver, all the, stuff that we should be doing, we try to, do very consistently, and just do the little things consistently over a long period of time. And so,
no, that's interesting. I like the way that you frame that, because I didn't know that I have forgotten about Dodd-Frank, but you just learned in a tough time. It's like us when we started in 2007 as a company. We didn't. Yeah, we just learned the hard way. And when it was easy, then you still do better. And then you're gonna last through everything. Yeah. So I like that. And your peers, your older peers were like, "This sucks.
Yeah,
like, this is really hard."
Yeah, quite a few of them retired.
Yeah. If you live or own property along the coast of South Carolina, you probably need insurance. We Insure Advocates is a locally owned independent agency with industry-leading service support. Our team of customer-centric agents can explain your coverage options and help you craft an insurance program that fits your needs and budget. Data-driven for better value, people-led for better service. That's the difference of we. For all of your property insurance needs, please find us at weinsureadvocates.com or call us at 843-491-6990. Is there something that, like, you lead a team, and so do I, so I have to continually revisit my motivation. Yeah, you've got a beautiful family, nice home. You like hobbies. You like to travel. Is that what motivates you to stay positive, or is it?
Absolutely. I mean, this too shall pass. Things will get easier in time. We just have to dig in. Be consistent and work hard. And I think things will get better. But yeah, the family absolutely motivates me. Here's something I read last week, and you're not going to believe this, but only 1,200 loan officers nationwide are closing $60 million in volume, last year. Okay. So Guaranteed Rate had 150 loan officers over 100 million 2 years ago. So a lot of top producing loan officers, but of those 20, today we've got 200,000 licensed loan officers nationwide. A year ago, we had 500,000 licensed loan officers. So
1 year,
500,000
to 200,000. Is that what you said?
Yep.
So more than half.
Yes. So, and And of those 200,000 still licensed, 20% have done a single loan over the last 90 days. So I thought that was interesting. I wanted to share that. Yeah.
That's a lot like what we're seeing from a real estate agent perspective.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
NAR says that, what was it? I just read 200,000 agents are going to be off the books this year. We just had license renewal this week. As a matter of fact, I better I need to write myself a note to pay my renewal. Sorry. I just had a thought. I need to do that. I meant to do that this morning. But we're seeing the same thing in our industry. And do you guys talk about it like we do? Like, I don't want anybody on this call to listening to this to get offended by this, but sometimes those people need to go.
Yeah. So that's
not a career.
And that was to my, the point I was trying to get to, we're staying motivated because we know, as we come out of this, we're going to increase market share. This is our full-time job. This is our career. The folks on my team, we're in this for the long haul. So we're digging in the trenches, working hard. And we know when this turns, we're going to, be better off for it.
Yeah, that's exactly how we talk about it at our company. Isn't it interesting to you how, very interesting to me why would people do this for one loan every 90 days or it's just too freaking hard.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wouldn't even deal with people if that were the case. Like I would rather not do that because people are hard. And if you're not doing several, if you're not making the living that you need to live the life that you want to live, why bother?
Yeah.
And that's what you're seeing. That is an enormous number of people. Have you seen that locally too? Have you noticed, did you know people that have gotten out of the business around
here? Yeah. We're seeing it some. Yeah, absolutely. And, not only on the lender side, but, real estate. I've had a couple of guys that have sent me some deals in the past that are now doing other things. So,
right.
So yeah.
And you find that out because you call them, say, "Hey, send me more business." And they're like, "Well, now I'm working at Flying Fish. I'm serving."
Right.
And whatever. I don't look down at those people. I think whatever they want to do is fine. But it is, it's like culling the herd, kind of what's going on now. But that's an enormous number, and I guess you just have to be prepared to pick up the pieces. And when you're career minded like you are, and you've been around a long time, and you just don't let it affect you. I bet your team watches you, especially if you have more inexperienced people on your team than you are.
Yeah.
Talk to me a minute about this, because I deal with this as a leader quite a bit. Do you have people in your office or in your organization or that that are always looking for a better deal, like looking for the greener grass?
Yeah, absolutely.
And how did you not ever do that? Like you were at this bank for so long, and now you're at this place, and why do you not get distracted by the shiny object or the promise over the hill or whatever to call it?
Well, I think where I am today at Guaranteed Rate is I don't know of anywhere that I could go that, has better options. I mean, from a competitive standpoint, we're very sharp. Our CEO was a loan officer. He thinks like a loan officer. That's kind of hard to find, from leaders in this industry. A lot of them may be, bankers that have never actually, been on the origination side. So, he's got our best interests at heart, and we're sharp. So there's always, we can do a lot of things. There may be, I'm not interested in, going somewhere to offer reverse mortgages or, going somewhere to offer, something that I just, it's not my, it's very, so we can do all the conventional stuff, the government loans, FHA, VA, USDA. We've got, a couple dozen correspondent options for jumbo financing. 28, I found out 2 weeks ago, we've got 28 different lenders that we can, broker loans to for condotels and, unwarrantable condos and things like that. So, I mean, honestly, I think I'm in the best place for myself. Right. So I just, quite frankly, I don't really have those conversations, to look at other options. So. Do
people call you though? Like other recruiters out there that call you and say, "Hey, Joseph, we've got a great thing going on at so and so.
Yeah,
can we meet?"
Yeah, I mean, I think
kind of like I did when we owned a real estate and we owned a mortgage company.
Yeah, I honestly, I would say the loan officers on our team probably get more calls than I do. Right. Maybe because I'm the branch manager, but we get those calls. They're just 20-second conversations, for me.
Thanks for calling. Respect what you do, but I'm happy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And how do you train your folks to stay steadfast? And what I found is that, like, I told them, I think 2 years ago, I said this at one of our meetings. If when you get a call like that, the first thing you should ask yourself is, how do you feel about your business, number one? And if you feel negatively about it, don't talk to someone.
Right.
Because you're vulnerable.
Yeah.
Right. And you're probably going to be enticed to look at but how do you coach your folks, or do you even talk about it? You just let them deal with it the way they deal with it?
Yeah, we talk about it a little bit. We have a team meeting once a month, go over some numbers, some different product knowledge, stuff like that, and just open it up for discussion. So, it comes up, but I mean, for the most part, the folks that we have on the team are all very positive. I've been doing it the longest, but they are by no means rookies. So,
right.
They see what I see, and the fact that, as we come out of this, we're going to be in better shape. So, we just try to keep a positive mindset,
Right.
So
where do you think, let's look at the crystal ball for a second. Where will rates go from here? In your opinion, and I know it's your opinion, guys, don't write this down. And you didn't hear this from the Fed. This is Joseph Jones talking.
Well, I'll
just in
tell
your
you,
experience.
Yeah. So, the rates are following inflation. So we're starting to see that come down. I mean, it's inevitable. Rates will come down. Don't know how fast or how much, up until the last month or so, the forecast was 5.25 to 5.5 on the, 30-year fix by the end of the year. I don't know that we'll see that, but high fives is probably a good possibility between now and the end of the year.
And we're at
we're about 6.8.
So high sixes right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that does something for affordability for a certain buyer.
It does. Yeah.
A certain buyer.
Yeah.
But I think like you said earlier, this place is calling people to it. The ocean has the power to bring people. And I think like the new home buyers may be affected, but someone from the Northeast that's cashing in on their property there and not going to be paying 3 times the taxes and all that, 1% in the interest rate isn't going to stop them.
Yeah. And, the reality is, a lot of buyers are waiting for rates to come down. We hear it weekly, almost daily probably. But if you think about that, and this, when the rates do come down, a lot of people are going to get off the sideline, prices go up. So, buy now. We could stay in touch, refinance you when it's, opportune for you to do so. And, every situation is different, but, that's the strategy. And whenever we really have a chance to, talk and educate clients on options, the rates really aren't, the challenge at this time.
Right.
So
that's
the
pretty
inventory.
good. That's a good perspective. And we encourage agents to do the same thing that you just said. You want to be, I think, like, I need someone in my corner like you that can always talk to me about what's going on. Almost like my financial advisor is for my stock portfolio. You need to be my guy in a real estate investment portfolio, and always be talking to me about what are the options, because at some point it's the right time for someone. And right now is the right time. There's property sold today. So I like the idea of, as the rates come down, the more people are going to put their property on the market, prices are going to go up. So why wait?
Now, don't get me wrong. Rates are, they are presenting an affordability challenge for, some. I mean, obviously the first time home buyers, is the market, in my opinion, that's hurting the most from this. But in this market, that's not the majority of what we see here. So.
Right. And we find that a lot of builders are doing a lot of creative things too, that helps that segment of the population. All right. So I've got 3 questions that I always end with. And you probably can't believe it's been almost 30 minutes that we've been talking, and it always flies by. I'd like to ask people this question, and you're probably one of the most humble people I've had on my show. I mean, he was a high level athlete, so he's got ability, but he comes across as a very humble guy. Talk to me about what you feel like your superpower is. What is it that you do? And I think I know what it is, but what do you think it is when you present your ability?
Yeah. So I would say connecting with people, earning their trust. When I connect with somebody, I feel like I can, listen and understand, them, their situation, and, present options in a way that, they're going to trust me and, going to be comfortable with the situation. So I would say that.
Yeah, that's trust. I think that's good. Yeah. And where does that come from, you think? Mom and dad teach you that, or church teach you that, or you just got it genetically?
Combination. I don't know. Probably, my mom she was an educator for years and years. Recently retired 4 or 5 years ago, but she was a special needs educator. And, so maybe that had an influence. I don't know.
Yeah, that's interesting to hear somebody like you answer that question, because I would have said trust, and I would have also said I feel like the building could be on fire, and Joseph would just calmly, grab us all by the hand and walk us down the hall out the available door. And there'd be a lot of people running around and freaking out, but it wouldn't be Joseph. Is that you, or you just put that forward? Do you get fired up about much or not?
I get fired up a little bit. Yeah. I mean, but I try to keep it calm and cool for sure.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. All right. Well, tell me about a book. Like we were talking about, you and I don't read a lot. Like I'm an Audible guy. I listen to books all the time, but what's a book that you might have run across, or something that you can share with the listeners that,
yeah, definitely. So, when I got out of college, trying to, figure out what I was going to do, had an idea to go into the financial services arena, and somebody that I talked to gave me a book. It's called The Richest Man in Babylon. Okay. And it was published in 1926. So pretty old book, but it instills, discipline, the things that you want to teach, what to do, how to grow in sales, how to, set aside 10% for savings, 10% for tithing, all that good stuff. So I'd say that. I've had some young guys reach out to me in the last few years asking for advice, and I've actually given them a copy. So
that's cool.
That one. Yeah.
That's a neat one. I haven't had that one on the show before, so we're gonna look at that for sure. That's a good one.
Yeah, I mean, and so, I mentioned I don't read much. Another good one is How to Become a Rainmaker, which, is just a sales book. I mean, teaching you all the things you need to know. It's an easy read, short read, but a great one as well.
Perfect. So the non-reader gave us 2 books. I love that. I've got readers on here that couldn't give me one, so that's awesome. Pretty cool. So tell me one thing before I ask you this last question. How can people get in touch with you if they want to? What are you on social media? Email best? Your phone number? Spell your name. Joseph Jones. That's pretty easy,
Joseph
right?
Jones,
No
Joseph Jones, Jones. So cell phone is definitely the easiest. 843-450-2343. Right. Email joseph.jones@rate.com.
All right, cool. And you remember, guys, my purpose for the show is to connect people. So I think you would take this guy to coffee. You guys go out and just chat it out. I mean, I think you'd be encouraged. He's got a lot of knowledge. I know some of the clients that he told me, he ran down a list of people that he's helping, and it's not their first rodeo, so he knows what he's doing. And I appreciate you sharing your knowledge with us. Tell me, is there something? The title of our podcast is Rise Up in Real Estate, and my initial thought way back when we decided this 3 years ago, was we need to rise above. I think there's a lot of mediocrity in the world. We don't talk about it, but how can we rise ourselves above that to live an excellent life? What is it, something that you do on a daily basis to help you rise up?
Oh man, that's a great question. I have a little bit of quiet time in the morning. And I really just, treat people the way, I would want to be treated, I would say. Treat them like family. I use that a lot, as I'm asking for referrals. Hey, I will treat you like family. So just taking care of people.
That's good. That's really good. So when you have quiet time, that word means a lot of things to a lot of people, but is it structured for you, just personally, off the record? We're still recording.
Yeah.
But what is it? How does it look for you?
I read a little bit in the mornings, have some coffee. Usually I'm up an hour before the rest of the house. So that's about it.
And when you got 3 kids, that's important. You got to be up first, right?
Right. Absolutely.
That's important. I don't know if you've heard of this book, Joseph. I'll recommend one to you if you hadn't heard it. It's called The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. And it talks about structuring that morning time. It's probably over-structured, but I really like. I was just talking about this on a video I did this morning about people are afraid of quiet time. We're so overstimulated that if I were just to get quiet for even 10 seconds on this podcast, people think something's wrong. I mean, even at a baseball game, when they say, "Hey, let's have a moment of silence," people are like, "When is it going to end?"
Right.
A moment is a long time. But that book is a good one, by Hal Elrod, about Miracle Morning.
Thank you. I'll check that out.
Yeah, good. So reach out to Joseph. Like, it's not you guys want to know a little bit more about what's going on in the lending industry. The guy has a lot of experience. He's going to be around here for a lot more years, we hope. But Joseph, thanks for taking some of your time to be on our show.
Yeah.
I'm sure that our listeners will benefit. And if there's anything we can ever do to help you at Rise Up in real estate, we would love to do that.
Awesome. Yeah, you're welcome. And thank you so much for having me.
Well, hey, that's a wrap, folks. Thank you so much for listening to Rise Up in Real Estate. If you liked hanging out with us today, please find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Rise Up in Real Estate. Also, follow us right now on your favorite podcast host to hear more episodes. We really appreciate you spending some of your time with us. And until next time, let's do each other a favor and all help each other rise up.